near or bedum yadomie eja aka a friend is saying ya famudie that I for quite some the New Patriotic Party as usual once a better asana dia omo entina yetia enti de be I say bomodiane yachia mean the national executives of the New Patriotic Party na memfa akonya so na menchia the 5 main aspirants aja omo contest omo two omo asi wo say on person di the New Patriotic Party enim coming 2028 election no until mechia omo no machia the Banda constituency so as well because chairman Charles I think say maybe o shemin kran e bom abaso say ne meye na menku so na menya na memfa mboa party no any ne constituency as well dache machia enwa bi so menche watiefo na mencha o producer ne o teams nyina almost ebo chidoma de bia na every Wednesday be share na ye cheche ya adwen de bia me ka say yenya kwan na ibetena hanoma enye say ebia ye nimchen omo mutie no nimo we just kind of opportunity bi na yenya na ya ba betena hanom but that maka we win I think say last week in some breyer the SCC o check abra even more association more invited the excellency Abekasa our 29th anniversary I say right I think say president Esha say kasa ye share football journalist football said the course of memo is there for the journalists and other aspect but that maybe who said the president basically always says what he doesn't do obetna gidani pa no kasa opeso okasama atiefo na Ghana for hu say ebia odogana for then so at the end of the day the reality that happens on the ground is different or it contradicts with what he always says just last weekend yana kan asemo yo enso ndra me no kase journalist for ya hwe omu ndra ya hu say eye deportees am ba Ghana ha hwe de see mo de nipa no mo person mo di omo chinchan free Ghana abroad there was a kind of agreement between the country before they deported omo ba Ghana has it and dra almost chinchina sanko for them omo de omo ekomo krom journalists for omo ko ho no mo omo ko take pictures any taking news except for ho no the way yes ya hwe omo ndra no ndra ya so na meka yo and has me yes and so president Bajina radio so and akotenya akonya no bekasa che Ghana for or kasa as if say at the moment no or crocro Ghana for ye the number to akwemo den journalists but that's not how it is
one na bo journalist one
Andra o de on news no be Ghana onya videos me hwe Andra me hwe pa yes Andra you say deported by force here for some even omo form say ya one woman of free Celerion say ifa you train form say and you ask yourself say Ghana when it comes to Ghana ade bakwa yes said we are tolerate with each other and we are able to accept visitors and as strangers than even ourselves and then no matter what the situation I say muntimi nyabo tre na mo tre journalists for form German for camera other things that this the Ghana that we wanted and this is the Ghana that we started building from 1992 since we go to the the democracy in this fourth republic but that's and okay the Ghana for abejaje but that's just this Monday ya yin me see say president say we appointed the new chief justice therefore as I say parliament as per the proceedings of or based on the constitution as I said parliament vetted the new appointed chief justice so there be a original to approval no but that's you see near a course on Monday no I was very close behind my television set and then I made sure the rear a bit ended now I was very alert say senka minority leader Afenyo Markins any ne caucus no senka omo continue vetted the appointed chief justice now and Kame lead the demonstration against him and then against the minority caucus in parliament. That you see, you cannot reprobate and then later on you come and approbate. So what I say, if you approbate and then come and reprobate, then you are kind of a hypocrite in life. From day one, any minority, any the MPP party, we have condemned the actions and then the processor, the president, AUC, Eddie, the former CJ Efron, Madam Tokonu, and every well-meaning individuals and those certain professionals, including Ghana Bar Association, the Bar Association of Wolves and England, are condemning the process that led to the removal of Justice Tokonu. So OSHA proceedings na efa so yi na efi honum na very obvious even MPP form kan e ka asem no near happen anyhow the president himself has breached the provision of the 1992 constitution and no na kire say ye no yem foaso. So at the end of the day na say president no antie the Ghana for kan ye wantie the civil society organization for I kan ye e bi say Imani vice president lawyer Kofi Bento. Okay, say Adena NDC for Ayeno. It was well calculated, something that they did when they were in the opposition. And then as they want power, they try to execute that promise that they did in opposition. And MPP from company can say what the president did, the president has actually decided to destroy the democracy in this country. And so done chair made the echo so Monday no. It was very obvious. Say yes.
What I say the processes are they talk on fast.
Yeah.
It was undemocratic.
Yes.
It was against the constitution.
Exactly.
And all that.
Perfect.
Let me read something to you.
Yeah.
Article 2:1. Or say a person who alleged that an indictment or any content of this or done under the authority of any indicate any other indictment or by an act or omission of any person inconsistent or is in contravention of the provision of the Constitution may bring an action before the Supreme Court for a declaration to that effect.
Perfect.
Wait. This is where my question comes. If the procedures was against the Constitution, minority members in Parliament, including the leader of the minority, is a lawyer.
Yes.
The Constitution enjoined all of us that should such things happen, we are able to bring a nation to the court for a declaration. Why was an action not taken to the court? If you think that it was travesty of justice.
If you remember, when this whole process started,
yes,
the former Chief Justice Tokonu herself, the issues, at court, whereby he raised the issue, say her fundamental right has been curtailed. So what I say? And based on that, if so kaya or say one, even the prima facie case that was leveled against her, Ninsa Enkai even ebesin that no say, and you are aware. Second, and based on that, offer a seminal at the court, and I was shocked. And if you are aware, the High Court, Abra what the issue no call High Court was to go say. One no have it that Supreme Court boss him to go say one no entimi en kasa asem no ema no
because wait let's because of many
sure.
So that the ordinary people
will understand. Yeah.
If you look at that ruling and anybody who read that ruling will understand that the court said that the court itself do not have the jurisdiction to even hear that matter. It is because when a fundamental right of an individual is breached and you seek the court to pronounce on it, it is not the Supreme Court but rather the High Court. Because it is your right.
Sure.
But if it is the right of another person, then you can bring it to the Supreme Court. That is what the law says. Two, the fact that Article 146 makes it clear that the issues are supposed to be heard in camera.
In camera,
The Supreme Court cannot hear same matter since it's supposed to be in camera. That is the entire ruling of the court, the import of the ruling of the court.
That's it. You see, laws are made for human beings. not that human beings are made for laws.
Yes.
Say, if you talk about the in camera, based on the fact, say, that's what the Constitution is saying. I know that there are two schools of thought when it comes to this Constitution, interpreting the Constitution. Some believe, say, the Emrana Kana and one no. And I believe, say, Emrana near Kana, young dream who, na yen share the impact and the effect I did bring it.
No, so there are two interpretations. The purposive interpretation. Now the purposive interpretation has the reasoning that framing constitution. What
the intention behind
yes. And so the in camera hearing.
Perfect. Until omo take you one sided. What I say? I did one ma say o check the 2012 election petition call so Supreme Court that's it. Tell me the provision in the Constitution say senka Supreme Court tena asem so a say enkomo yen out camera. No provisions there, but at times for the purpose of democracy and transparency sake omo ye ma Ghana ni bia wo akwa bia se ne enya bi ye ehwe. So from day one, the woman has been complaining, say her right has been curtailed. But don't forget, you see, at times, when you are a political party and then you are in power, you might try to find a way through, or you might try to find a way out or through the process, which maybe probably that was advantage to the NDC. No problem, granted. But actually, the name person what you are saying say. The process we have rejected it from day one. Say the process that has happened and then led to the removal first, that even led to the suspension. Even the removal of the Chief Justice. And if you remember, and right now the issue is in court, when the committee submitted their report to the president, and the president in the so say based on the ordinance oyi Mamine Fuo as a Chief Justice. And also Enko Daichiri was afro as a justice to the Supreme Court. Now, and if you remember, that is where the argument again started by saying, say, no, if you look at the process for this woman as a Chief Justice, it's different from her being as a justice to the Supreme Court. So maybe probably you might decide to remove her as a Chief Justice, which you have that, authority or mandate. But for you to also proceed further to remove her from the Supreme Court justice, that's another issue that we have to also seek an interpretation from the Supreme Court. And that's the reason why the issue went to court. Now, the issue is, Sir Osha, first, Mamena Edi Asamno ko ECOWAS. Mebra menino kasande. Asamna so ECOWAS bebwa. Yen kan wiye. Even Ghana has some of the issues are seen in court. So why then, as a president, you cannot wait for the court to bring out the ruling of the matter, or the court should bring out the rulings pertaining the matter, for you to now proceed to maybe appoint a Chief Justice of the state. But as a president, you should know better that when issues are in court, you have to wait, make sure that the determination or the ruling of the court will now influence the decision to maybe appoint a new one. But you didn't do that. And you went ahead to appoint a new Chief Justice of the country.
It was that decision, that particular action and the action of the president.
Yes.
Has it become just a new phenomenon known to the MPP now?
You see, Assembly Onoma, at times, question now be maybe probably you want to go back and look at what happened, and then maybe as a president, when you are mandated, and don't forget that's the reason why this LGBTQ plus issue by it. President, by then, ono can say, one they on sign it until say the court to bring it ruling. I remember last week or last 2 weeks we discussed the same matter here, whereby you asked me, say, was that right? Said that when you compare it to the e-levy. Me, for example, when the president signed the e-levy, I wasn't in support to that, because so far as the issue is in court, the president could have waited to make sure, say, after court, they didn't ruling about out before I could be president.
Okay, but let me just avert your mind to something.
Yeah.
So, from that, are happening. Nothing has happened.
Yeah.
But recent times, the judiciary has had the opportunity to make a pronunciation on same. In the Ekwasifua case, with the Attorney General. And the court has said that, except that in a particular case, it is explicitly said that you cannot do A, B, C, D. No writ can seek to enjoint a constitutional body from going on with its duties. So assuming without even admitting, say, and can any levy banner, levy pending or quarter, the president could have gone and even sign it, and he would not contravene any law.
So that you see, these are matters of for the judiciary and lawyers. So what they are saying. In same say, but I know say always lawyers want to test cases so that the obobenya interpretation out of maybe what to come, and so that at the end of the day in the future, no, it will guide precedents, right? So no problem. And for that one, that's listen. But to me, as someone that looking at the quantum and the critical matter that we are dealing with, the president should have waited, because don't forget, that issue. Me our friend be a war, lecture be a war, University of Minnesota, and when the issue happened, and I was having conversation with her, a lecturer, and she told me, say, she shocked, say, Ghana and a country sa adiwe happen. Sanka any other African country was it for a whole branch of government? Say one day, just one night, the president just squash off that person from the office, and it's a shame to the country, and it's true. And to me, there, upon all that has happened, but all that have happened concerning that issue, the president could have waited, and then at the end of the day, you know, and after ruling, then you proceed for that.
Emraben will busu not waiting.
But that say asemo quarter you be atemo.
It's a constitutional body.
Maybe say asemo quarter say you be atemo. Perfect. Do I obu ateno no? Opachire say. Do I know opachire say? No matter what, the court will rule against the former chief justice. That's what it means.
No.
Why no?
So let me give you. Let me ask you. Let me ask you an example. In 2020.
But that children was
yes, in 2020. NDC was in court. Challenging the
elections.
And even the figures that the president then won. Should we have said that since the case was in court, we should wait until the determination of that case before we swear in the president?
When it comes to election matter, the constitution has made it clear that after the election, we have a day to swear in the president. The date is there, 7th January. So you have to swear in the president.
But this is a case.
So now I'm coming. Let me finish.
The case is
wait. I'm coming. So the constitution is explicit on that. Let's swear in on this particular date. But if you have an issue, then let the court deal with it. It is
fantastic.
It is clear. So this one, there is a specific.
The law says that. The law also says that. Wait. The same constitution. The same constitution you are quoting says that when a bill is brought before the president,
let me finish.
The president must assent to the bill. If the president has any reason for which you cannot assent to the bill, he returned the bill with a reason to parliament. But the president said that it was pending in court.
That's it. If you bring this analogy, you will get it wrong.
How?
And the country will be in chaos.
How?
For example, if you are president, if you're elected,
yes,
by 6th December, now Otemia Abaye, the country has no president again. So I by chance telling me say, but then we should leave it the country in a vacuum?
But the issue is in court. If your analogy is anything to go by, then the issue is in court. Let's wait for the determination.
No, so that's what I'm saying with that. That's what the constitution is very clear. This particular date, let's actually swear in the president.
Constitution
it's clear. So that's the idea. Yeah, to me, it's like when we do that, I mean, comparison, it's like we are trying to compare apples with oranges. We will get it totally different.
And I'm saying the end clear.
Oh, but this one is very, as someone I'm making, that when issues are in court, and then you are able to comment on the matter. That's why as someone court I see share one kasa amfa ho. Yes, I want your court be show the contempt, right? Because one show ya ube pen tema buaten. Anna, you yourself, you don't have that constitutional mandate or you don't have the authority to pass such judgment or ruling. And to be there, a president, or go ahead to appoint that person. That tells you clearly, say, then the person knows, say, oh, Master, the way you at the end of the day, then he's going to rule against the woman.
Me know we are arguing, but okay, Domelevo. The case of Domelevo. He was in court.
Yes.
A new Auditor General was appointed. He won the case in court. The court says that he should be reinstated.
And then
reinstating at the time of retirement.
That's it. Domelevo issue, no. You see, he was asked to go on a cumulative leave of 120 days, right?
No problem.
After Oko sa we no.
Oko court.
Tama or sa leave we no. That was a period issue said the Oko court. But don't forget, by then no, now the man was closer to his pension.
No problem.
What you say?
But now until court. In the process of court, general court they are appointing new person.
But you see, so the person what you say, one time no, the man the boss and say, now the time I saw a pension. And it's one on the case you could clearly see say, even no matter the outcome of the court, at the end of the day, the person cannot come and continue to work as Auditor General for how long? So what you saying?
The court says reinstate him.
Yeah, so basically that is particularly about the AG particular Auditor General issue. But that's near a course on Monday no. That's me one second as me we cry. The course no. So I don't know if you followed the descent.
Yes.
The vetting.
I was glued to my TV. I watch it from 1 to Z.
It was very clear. Say it happened in 2012 election petition na court no. So Kaya, I know so they when you witness it very from A to Z. The court no. The election was quite tight. It's all kinds of election now between the former president Akufo-Addo and then the current president John Dramani Mahama. Very tight. And the issue went to court. Do you know where President Erwin just 50.07% to not even up to 51%. And a court no, that was when MPP we complained that there were a lot of discrepancies that happened during the election. And if you remember, we said that most of our agents were chased out from the polling stations. That's the reason why they couldn't even append their signatures to the pin sheet. And that was a period that, pin sheet became one of the, a household name for everyone. That, hey, there's something called pin sheet in this country. Based on that, it went to court. And out of the 9 justices that sat on the case, the ruling was very tight. And it took only one person that, voted for the NDC. And this person, as we talk about, is, the current CJ that they appointed, Bafo Boni. So it was just one person that determined the outcome of or the decision of the. Our former president came out boldly and said he disagreed with the outcome of the ruling, but based on the constitution of this country and democracy's sake, he has said and he admit. So that maybe clearly say the appointment that came, I 100% or 120% belong to the school of thought that the appointment is just a mere of payback time based on what he did for the NDC in the 2012 election petition.
Would that also suffice for the Marlena Justice Enin Yeboah, who also voted for Nanado in 2012 election petition?
That's it. Maybe you can have your personal interpretation that might belong to you.
Because
but
the school of thought you are coming from.
Yeah,
and it's the reason why I ask you whether you can reason same.
I have every right to think of. You see, when you have data around you, you pick the data and then you interpret it and then get your findings.
No problem.
Perfect. The
question that I ask you, it is a yes or no matter.
And the issue that we are discussing
whether or not,
the issue that
this one can also suffice for any year.
So what I say, just Bafuboni.
Yes.
Nasam Naba and I'm telling you, based on the data that I have, based on all these cases that I've narrated, based on that, I can deduce from that analogies by saying, I believe, based on the year anything, because don't forget, Bafuboni, I appointed in day, or he just next year or call for pension.
He's the oldest person on the bench,
and so
anybody who is on the bench is 7 years older.
And he made that claim. Say he came at the bench at 2008, and then the person that came last 2015 or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm telling you,
by the longest serving,
when we come to
17 years,
when we come to appointment of Chief Justice,
yes,
the Article 144, I process the first group, any the qualification to appoint someone as Chief Justice, age doesn't matter.
No, I'm not.
It doesn't talk about age. Yes. So and then it doesn't talk about how much you spent on the bar. It doesn't say that. So and when he was making that claim that that's the reason why he thought that he qualifies to be the Chief Justice of the state, and I was saying, if you make this analogy, then to me personally, it's below bet for me. But the person was saying, say,
why is it below belt? Because
the constitution doesn't say anything.
We have somebody like my Lord Justice Databa, retired, who had reason to say that, look, the appointment of chief justices, we know justice, they moved from maybe the High Court to the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. Some come from the bar straight to the Supreme Court and all that. If somebody has gone through the mill, from maybe a tribunal level, from the circuit court to rise to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court, and stayed in the Supreme Court for years, it presupposes to you that the person has had an experience. However, if you take somebody who is a junior to that person at the Supreme Court bench, and you put him ahead of those who, assuming, from training as SP.
You know, when you get to the Supreme Court, the bench, you are all equal.
That is right.
Perfect. And like if you accept
it is until recently. Because then I recall that my Lord Justice Dennis J. When he was teaching me, taught us something. He said, "Go days at the Supreme Court bench, there were Form 1 people, there were Form 2 people, and there were Form 3 people. It was just like what the Chief Justice nominated said. So, Mubabe DKs now. Omufa, depending on the case, omu to me fa Form 1 for no be ebia 2.
No, the council monya experience.
Said be amu if senior ba ko person be on bet me I get the experience. I say case na be case be no one charges okay. Yema Form 3 for na entrance. Then all the Form 3 sit on the case and deal with it.
We have conventions and there
baby it is not law. It is not law that people will chair.
Yes. Until your adibona practice in a but the person what say endamity. So senkame buy the General Secretary of the NDC, Honorable Johnson Asiedu Ketia, and a Tihanoma, you equal men found when you tell me.
That is right.
So I just say. So when you just get to, the Supreme Court, bar now, Munya Moye pet. Anything that claim, man for ye, and he was there before Justice Tokonu came, and then they appointed Justice. That one is like, let me just borrow your own way. It's what argument. But the person just made it, that's how I believe it. So they gave him the opportunity just to pay him, what he did for the NDC years back. And one thing that I noticed is that someone they have appointed you, and now they are going through the vetting. You are receiving an appointment. He was there to even advocate praised the policies of the NDC government, and I was shocked.
Which of the policy?
So one thing I can say, all praise 24-hour economy which the government has promised and he will achieve and blah 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 on the panel. And I'm
did you hear what?
Papa Dachi.
And the replication of 24-hour at the judicial level.
Dachi or can you hear so back so crack? Me say and me say enti obia ya point to when you are chief justice, you occupy a high esteem office to the extent that all the judiciary, in this case, all the lawyers, all the courts, everything comes under you.
Do you know
but
that?
When you are kind of praising the incumbent, someone who has, that's the reason why they called him disputed candidate, and then it became an issue. But it was true. Look at the number of disputes that happened before they appointed him.
No,
it was clear.
So there are disputes, but he is not a disputer because you don't have any issue,
you see,
particularly about him.
You know has Ghana say, and I was worse. You see, you have no. Your friend is a minority. They walked away from Parliament because they called this woman. Say they called him. They called her a bloody widow.
But was it?
But
right?
the question is,
was it right?
It wasn't right. But
wait,
Nyantuba that you dancing no, you trust him no
papa.
They are dancing.
Nye papa ntu ka say nye papa.
Yeah.
So why will you say nye papa, but when the tables turn you want to do same?
That's it. Yeah, we are not doing same.
Means you don't have principle.
But we are saying that you see what all that we said, they say dispute happened. Asana,
not about
pointing
him.
To the extent say you will be fraud at the neighbor. And to be frank, oh, said Obi from the natural cause.
You say Obi atuma ma ya by election.
Me say, and also quite an inform so everybody knows. But this one, look at the manner I far so tactically I jima many free one. Na e dey Obi ba. Ono kan dey kwanje. To be frank, I know say at the end of the day, if Parliament approves him, at the end of better one say though I am the Chief Justice,
but you think Parliament will not approve him?
Let's see what will happen.
You think Parliament will not?
I said, let's see what will happen.
You are micro minority.
I cannot.
They have the number to form quorum and even do business without you.
Don't worry. That is what and not end this for. That's what they are getting it wrong. And you see now let me even just use that one and go back and go to the next the boss issue. Yeah. So social boss issue now. Now NDC on my dream say everything or any appointment that the MPP government did, say that point wasn't good. And they are trying to witch hunting all former sector leaders, CEOs, even ministers and other office holders.
David Asante. No, Ghana Publishing. CEO. What is Obi Achebe? Nyantuba say every international media.
Amasha say why akra. Me some person obi a some timi nya once.
David Asante what is say
me say akra mo yeba. Akra mo yeba. Some yeba. Ha?
Virus and all housing state house. Who's that chino?
Me ba.
Anakomi ya chino.
That's it. But don't think that they can just arrest them one day. And it's not possible. But the omo no. So what next now shini din now go for you to say clearly that is the intention. They just want, and they think they are still in a position whereby they will try to incite certain propaganda in the minds of Ghanaians. Say MPP are buying and the some Ghana ye. But right now, no, you guys work now. Share a boss, as somewhere and dra. Your friend say your coach, a former CEO no, Kotoka International Airport. The issue is one. The man wasn't even aware. Say, now if you come you the list to the man you ban to the to kwan. Na nipa no to kwan. Na makwa chene to say Sebi wabokro no bi and na kan chene se man to kwan na wo to kwan. And then you guys are painting a picture across the length and breadth of this country and showing the whole world say this man has squandered state money and that's the reason why he was running from the country. Now, nipa ye kana semi Ebra eye MPP aban appointee no obeye the CEO dachi na boss abeno company na boss kapo deka and that me no can say
wait I don't want us to go into the reason for which he was arrested.
Yeah.
I have said it this morning and put on record that if the man is aware that they were looking for him, it's a different ball game.
Exactly.
My only regret is the fact, say, if the man is not aware that he is on red alert, and the fact that me too I may call for 1 week, and disgracefully, they try to arrest him from the Kotoka International Airport. I think that it is just mostly unfair.
It's unfair
and unwarranted.
Exactly.
Invite the person, call the person, go to your house, arrest him. Yeah, Charlie, you are not supposed to travel. You are red alert. If the person see to, then you know he is trying to escape.
Exactly.
Fine, but nipa no onye na dwen say kan kire no say me hwehwe for any investigation and nipa na na dwen say wo ma by preku pe metuko enti say me ti hei me nim wo say me da red alert say me nim enti say na me kokotoka no kwachim kokotoka say me da red alert so enti watch me for what purpose?
So that is how the country's democracy has reduced to. This is how tyrannical leaders start.
But somebody who has a bigger question: will you have the moral fortitude to question these actions? When in 2017, wait.
You yourself,
now in 2017, you did same thing, where I said the same. Blueprint and
that's it.
We had people who were about climbing the flight and so more pensions.
So that is what I was kind of 2017. If a CA not gonna phone you na ekasaitia, then that means anything can community cry. Because if nothing at all, you have experience.
You have a past question.
Exactly.
To look at. I agree with you.
In
some case.
Yes.
But say and nipa or man is in
run. Say
nipa or man is in run. Have you had the moral ground to even
exactly. You have to because they see are gonna for kind. Exactly. More experience. Okay. We have every right to talk about it. But that's even some of the issue, the allegations that are leveled against this man. That's it. Odim asemi nyina ya ko by say abra MPP are buying and they negotiated for good for oil no. Or the companies be adwuma when follow due process or due diligence wasn't followed. That was what the reason why and I asked myself, you see this office, this man, the CEO honum or buy office that me ba be kire awards or the company no enya amagana. He obaye no the first award receive we said when you're the best company of the year 2024 boss enya that best company of the year Ghana has it and no dan chen wonon kasa so ene be the best CEO of the year nipa na eye NDC4 SSB wono wadi dwirimu Ghana ha ani nti on peda chena if you can na onya awempo no ne oyema the to so mienu osa receive your friend saying among the 50 companies in Africa, the first 50 countries, best companies in Africa, one of the boss Eco during that wars or year. And also cry and nanchen was every name your friend say Legacy Petroleum Storage Company in 2023, the best legacy petroleum company Ghana has it. And also crowd and also was every name the transformational CEO in 2023. The same year. So these are some of the things Nipaneba officer otimi and no kwandanchen a brow office within 3 years. Now when you almost 1 billion profit for the state. And for so nya edema Ghana no. Oba you within from 2021 to 2023. Onya sika and for so nya nkwana is almost 1 billion Ghana cedis. 2021 alone o make you 160 million Ghana cedis profit and edema o mine. Sani pe so beta baby na sa wo ka say MPP aban appoint the position man no e na obedi edwiri mu sa office won ma sabi na wan ka sa enyina so be na de kan say eno nanche sa exactly eno so nanche 2022 dache wonya 342 million profit in the country 2023 la just 208 million. And one of the most important thing that why say you see every company and every organization you're what we call equity position. And no extra say in case say we company na wono and who emphasis I don't know the value of your company. Me say mechanic tree mo. Emu dro say sika do a o company nyina den ewo se bibi sin de kwampo a obetonya say sika no e dey den abo ho ban. Now obaye no from 2021 na sa sika no two check property ni nyina sika ni nyina na isi 248 million Ghana cedis. Within 2023 no what increasing up to 277 million. And you call this man say we are better officer at the end of the day or no opesa ochene editu. And you know the because of that NDC government no. They shouldn't think that Sebi we cannot research and know what is happening on ground. If Senka Omofa Kwampa so called inviting man, no problem. But everything that they are doing today, posterity will judge them, and then Ghanaians will vote against them in 2028 because on one customer will say, Sebi, kind of phone will say, a bosha, and this for a share, abandonment opposition, no, they are doing the opposite.
That's it.
That's it.
Derek, my yana fe fancy na me fast than a Cassiano and fa Kennedy Donko or no the NPP communication team member. Now I was a TD Roger Ebeka Yensa for one reason. One to me ama enti enso so eno no. Enti abushia ma memfa ensi aha.